minigame has to do is just be fun. Yeah, I know this one's kind of corny, but given the nature of Mario Party games, you are going to be replaying these minigames a decent amount. Trust me, I know, there are a lot of minigames throughout this series, but if you buy just like 1 or 2 Mario Party games per console, and if you play them as much as I do with your friends, you're gonna be replaying minigames a lot, so the minigames have to be fun, and above all else, replayable. The perfect Mario Party minigame will end, and then you'll be sent back to the main Mario Party board, but you'll wish you just get to replay that minigame. Those 4 factors make the perfect Mario Party minigames, and of course I'll talk about more of my specific tastes, whether it's button mashers, spoiler alert, I like them a lot, or stuff like memorization minigames. We'll talk about those throughout the videos, but those are the 4 core principles that every minigame has to reside with. There have also been a ton of minigames remade throughout the years, and although most of the remade minigames are completely identical in the actual gameplay, there are a few that have made some massive changes game to game that actually change the core fundamentals of how that minigame plays, which in turn can bump it up a few hundred spots up or down on the ranking. So if a remade minigame is identical to its predecessor, we will just rank it as one minigame. But if there is a notable change, and yes, notable change is somewhat subjective, but if we think there is a notable change, we have separated them on the rankings and ranked them separately as a result. Finally, at the end of this massive project, we will be taking some interesting averages to see a bunch of cool statistics. For example, on average, are 4-player minigames better than 1v3 or 2v2? Or on average, which Mario Party game has the highest ranked minigames? All of that is included at the end of this video, so make sure to stay tuned to grab some popcorn. This is an absolutely massive project, by far the biggest video we've ever made on the channel, so dropping a like, and if you're not subscribed, hitting that subscribe button seriously does help out so much. On top of that, let us know your thoughts on this ranking in the comments below. Obviously, this is a subjective video. It is quite literally our opinion. We're more than happy to talk to you all in the comments though, so make sure to drop a message down below if your favorite minigame happens to be ranked in like the middle of this 4-hour-long behemoth. With that all being said, thank you guys for watching, and let's get into the ranking. Alright, let's jump into it. What is the worst all-time minigame in Mario Party history? This is arguably, to me, just as interesting as what minigame is the best. Out of the over 1,000 minigames, which one is the biggest stinker? Well, there have been some absolutely abysmal Mario Party minigames throughout the years. Some that are uncreative, bland to look at, waste your time, and are just not fun. But what do you get when you put all of that into one sad excuse of a minigame? Well, you get Gatekeepers from Super Mario Party Jamboree. Pick a random key, pick a random gate, and just hope it fits. Now, as you'll see throughout this list, I have nothing against 100% luck-based minigames. In fact, some of my favorite minigames out there are just pure RNG, but the way I see it, if a minigame needs 0 player input and can just be run throughout a calculator, it is entirely carried by its presentation, how the minigame looks with its premise, how it builds suspense, all while not wasting your time. These are the important factors for RNG minigames, and that's why Gatekeepers is easily the worst minigame in the Mario Party franchise. You quite literally just take turns one by one picking random keys, hoping it works on a random door. If you're unlucky enough, this minigame can last up to 3 minutes.
Nope. This is a boring minigame.
It's crazy, because we're now 17 games into this franchise, and the more recent Mario Parties have been putting out consistently high-quality minigames. It's just salt in the wound that Gatekeepers is as bad as it is while being in Jamboree, which is one of my favorite Mario Parties and the most recent one we've gotten. In Fruit or Foe, you one by one knock on a random house, get a random amount of apples, and rinse and repeat for 3 minutes. Yeah, this is essentially the same thing as Gatekeepers, but barely better presentation-wise. Barely, though. It's still absolute garbage as far as minigames go. For aim of the game, you pick 5 cards to get the highest score. Not only is this minigame absolutely sauceless, with no interesting presentation whatsoever to speak of, but they somehow took a boring premise and broke it. There is no timer on this minigame, so you can literally sit and wait until you mathematically get the best score, only to find out that everyone else did the exact same thing, so the game is just a tie. This minigame is lazy, boring, and broken, not to mention a really lame inclusion of pointer controls. You will not believe the game mechanics on display in this next one. In Get a Rope from Mario Party 5, get this, you walk up to a rope and pull it. That's it. Nintendo absolutely cooked with this one, and not only that, but if you somehow pull off this insanely skilled win, a tiny bit of confetti will even pop out to congratulate you. Move over, Breath of the Wild, Nintendo might have peaked with this minigame right here. Oh yay, another one. Pitfall from Mario Party 6 has you choose one of the ropes and randomly win or lose. I guess this is slightly better because of this animation right here, but yeah, I do not know what Nintendo or Hudson Soft was on when making these. In Puzzle Pronto from Mario Party Island Tour, you drag items to their silhouettes, and that's it. You know those games for literal Babies where they put the square peg in the square hole? Yeah, this is exactly how this minigame feels. There's nothing creative, nothing that helps it stand out. It's literally a baby game through and through, like by definition. In Top It Off, you're shown the bottom of an item and have to find the top faster than everyone else. Maybe with some fun presentation, this could save itself from being better than bottom tier. But my goodness, this one just turns out absolutely sauceless. It's like a mobile minigame in both gameplay and graphics, and in my opinion, just has little to no redeeming qualities. There are only 13 standard 4-player minigames in Mario Party 7. 13, the least amount in any Mario Party game by far, and you're telling me out of all the scrapped ideas, all the workshopped mechanics, Cointagious somehow made the cut? You literally just hit dice blocks for 30 seconds straight to get coins. When it comes to coin minigames, I largely see them as unnecessary. Regular minigames reward coins as is, so basing an entire minigame around just collecting coins usually just limits the creativity. But they needed a coin minigame in here? Fine. I don't like most of them, but there are a few on this list that I genuinely enjoy. But this is the gameplay Nintendo came up with? Cointagious is absolutely awful. At least have the gameplay be anything other than hitting dice over and over again. That's like all we do in the main Mario Party mode anyway. Vicious vending would be even more offensive than Cointagious if it wasn't over in literally 2 seconds. You spin the wheel and get a random reward. There's no sauce here. It's pure luck and it's a coin minigame. Thankfully, Vicious vending marks the end of the straight up offensively bad minigames. Those last 8 or 9 minigames I just never want to play again. So although the next 100 or so are still kind of bad minigames, they don't fill me with pure anger like the ones we just covered. Shuffling things up, we have Stacked Deck from Mario Party 3. Again, I know I sound like a broken record, but I don't inherently hate these pure RNG minigames. However, if you're gonna do one, don't make it take 2 minutes of pointless turn taking. In Crane Game from Mario Party 1, 3 players sit there unable to do anything other than wiggle as one player using the crane slowly comes over, picks you up, and drops you in a pipe. This'll be a theme throughout this video. You can tell they had fun ideas for some of the Mario Party 1 minigames, but either had to crunch or were still just finding out even how to develop a minigame, so because of that, this one's a total dud. Next up, we have the Crane Game from Mario Party 2. Wait, what? Yeah, that's right, it's a repeat. Now, you didn't hear me wrong in the intro. If a minigame is repeated later in the series, but with no drastic changes, it'll just be grouped together in the ranking. But this is really a special case, because as it turns out, both of the Crane games from Mario Party 1 and Mario Party 2 equally suck, but for entirely different reasons. They repurposed this minigame to be a challenge against the clock, for one player to pick up every player and then drop them in a pipe. This means instead of being a meaningless quick minigame, this is now a 2-minute long slog fest, watching the player with the crane slowly pick someone up, drop them, and rinse and repeat. It even defeats the purpose of the race against the clock style of minigames by including clocks the crane can pick up for extra time. It's hilarious that they attempted to try and fix this minigame from Mario Party 1 to 2, and ultimately made it just as bad, but in its own special and unique way. In Coin Shower Flower, you paddle around trying to get coins from the flower. I see nothing redeemable about this coin minigame. Alright, here we have our first batch of microphone minigames that appeared in Mario Party 6 and 7. I'm not quite sure who thought Mario Party needed a microphone extension, but its implementation in a party game from 2004 is just about as clunky as you'd expect. Although there are a few fun mic minigames way down the ranking, these coming up are the epitome of a gimmick gone wrong. In Wheel of Woe, 3 players survive while 1 player calls into the mic the enemies they want to appear. This would be somewhat challenging and difficult if you literally couldn't hear the person next to you say what's coming. Nintendo, what were you thinking here? In Boxing Day, you have to avoid the giant mechanical arms that are piloted by 1 player using the mic. But again, hearing what moves are coming means that unless you are literally living life on 2000 ping, it's almost impossible to lose here. Next we have Stratosphere. Getting tired of these microphone 1v3 minigames? Don't worry, I am too. Be My Chum has the exact same problem as the other 1v3 mic minigames, but this one's only the highest because the enemies have more random moves and they're mildly more fun to play against. In Puddle Paddle, you paddle around to pick up coins. Again, a boring coin minigame. In Coin Bop, 1 player gets a harder control scheme but is alone, while the 3 players get easier controls but as a team. This minigame type is done to death, so the poor ones get no sympathy from me. Plus, this is a coin minigame, just get out of here. In Pyramid Scheme, you work together to collect coins. This would be lame as a 2v2 versus minigame, but as a coin minigame on top of that, I might just burn my Mario Party 7 disc. In Coin Block Blitz, you run around, I guess blitzing around, hitting blocks for coins. Yep, it's as boring as it sounds. Coin Block Bash is the exact same thing, but 1v3 with someone having a hammer. I hate it here. Box Mountain Mayhem is literally the same thing, but the boxes are stacked and you punch them. How did they run out of ideas in the first Mario Party game? Butterfly Blitz? More like butterfly Yeah, I have no problem with a butterfly catching minigame, but holy crap, the controls here are terrible. Maybe if your net was always up and you were bumping into each other to catch butterflies, it would actually work. But as it is, it feels impossible to actually catch a butterfly in your swing. The actual motion of the swing doesn't really fit with where the butterfly is when you catch it, so this one just feels awkward. I don't even know how this constitutes itself as a minigame. The idea for mathletes is awesome, having to form an equation that gets you the most coins. Only problem is it's 100% RNG, your input means nothing. Only reason this isn't at the very bottom is because it's a cool premise, but absolutely wasted. In deck hands, you pick 3 random cards and hope you get the highest total. Now, although I know I've already ranted about pure RNG minigames previously, the style and setup of this minigame could make it above average, but oh my goodness, once again, this minigame takes forever. Everyone selects their cards one by one, which makes this minigame last upwards of 2 minutes. For a minigame like this that could literally be run through an algorithm, just don't even waste the player's time. Like, why are we doing this? In tap dash, you have to dash to be the first to tap the enemy after it's shown on screen. A pretty simple reaction minigame with straight booty presentation. Mario Party 8's challenge minigames are unfortunately kinda lame, so let's get some of them out of the way. In pour to score, you pour out the right amount to win. Need I say more? Fruit picker, pick the fruit in the right order. Oh, so riveting. In Stampede, you stamp normal paper and don't stamp Bowser. Alright, moving on. Piranha's Pursuit is a 1v3 minigame where the 3 players ground pound a cloud to rain on the piranha so it catches up to the 1 player who's running away. Even when they went over and updated it, this is still just a flat out horrible minigame. All you do here is either sit on a cloud and ground pound, or go through an incredibly simple stage. That's literally it. There's no movement system with the cloud to keep it over the piranha. Single player minigames are so boring. Roll out the barrels is the exact same thing, but in the second one. They did this a lot, and by and large, they were not really able to improve a lot of these minigames from 1 to 2. In Ghost Guess, you jump on a random boo and hope you get coins. I love RNG minigames like this. Not. In Swinging with Sharks, you swing to the item you want. Hey, at least it's over fast. In Whack a Plant, you whack the plants. Need I say more? In Coffin Congestion, you pick an item from a coffin. I wish it was me inside of these while I was playing through all these boring item minigames. In Ground Pound, you ground pound flat pieces of wood. Great naming here, guys. You can actually even see most of them too, even with the butterflies supposedly covering them. Hammer Slammer lets you whack the hammer to get an item you want. Imagine if this was fun. In Teetering Towers, you have to make it to the end of these teetering towers, but it's literally impossible to lose this one. Knock Block Tower lets you punch blocks. Next. In Bobbing Balloons, you shoot the arrow to get the item you want. So cool. Give Me a Break lets you pull on the item you want. Even more cool. In Limbo Dance, you do the limbo, but Mario does not have any good dance moves, which is ironic for someone who got his own DDR game. In Mallet Go Round, you hit the mallet on an item you want. In Dory Dip, you abuse poor Dory here for her to grab you an item. Ouch. For Swing and Swipe, you whack Baby Bowser to get the item you want with the hammer. This just feels mean. For Winner's Wheel, you click